So my name is Anya. Just to introduce myself a little bit more formally, I am the second year fellow at 826 Boston, where I'm technically the publishing fellow. So I lead a creative writing education class at a high school nearby, and I also turn all of the student work into physical publications out of our nonprofit. So it's a really rewarding job, and we are having 2 fellows at 826 Boston next year, and I know we've been getting a lot of interest and I've been getting a lot of messages, so I'm really excited to answer any questions related to 826 or the fellowship in particular. To answer this question, I think it's really helpful when applying to 826 to have experience working with kids, or like just a true and genuine passion for working in direct service environments. It helps if you have personal ties to the Boston community, or if you can tell a really cohesive story as to why you care about contributing to this community in particular, and why writing education is really significant to you and to the people that you would be working with. Hello, so my name is Anya. Just to introduce myself a little bit more formally, so for me, a typical workday varies quite a bit. I think Delaney will have a different response, but I split my time between the office, where I'm there 2 days a week, and then in programming, where I'm there 1 to 2 days a week, and then Fridays are always remote. My Fridays are typically professional development. When I'm in the office, I'm normally working on publishing, so putting all of our documents and manuscripts into InDesign and designing outcomes for them. Working with other team members to make covers and different physical elements for the books, and proofreading, copy editing, things like that. And then when I'm in school, I'm helping out with a ton of different programs. So I am often doing in-class support with our journalism club, the Observer, and also helping out with like drop-in tutoring sessions and running the after-school program that I help out with. So there's a lot of different things, and every day is unpredictable, which is why I love it. Hello, so my name is Anya. Just to introduce myself a little bit more formally, the bulk of the time that you spend like in the fellowship community physically happens on retreats, which are twice a year for about 5 days each in a rotating location. So Philly, New York, or Boston, and we switch every single time. And that's when you get to do professional development, get to know the fellows on a more intimate level. You are staying together in Airbnbs, going out at night. It's really, really fun, and like a great bonding activity. So that's been my favorite part of the fellowship, and I feel like I've come out of it with real friends. And if you're lucky enough to be in a position like 826 Boston will be next year, or Reading Partners historically has been, you'll be one of 2 fellows at your organization, so you'll kind of have that built-in buddy all the time. Hello, so my name is Anya. Just to introduce myself a little bit more formally, I am the second year fellow at 826 Boston, where I'm technically the publishing fellow. So I lead a creative writing education class at a high school nearby, and I can answer this twofold. Each fellow is connected with an alumni mentor that you can talk to throughout the duration of your fellowship. You meet with them at least twice. And mine is Ellie Sanchez. She works in the city of Boston. She's the chief of staff, and we have really similar interests in terms of education, equity, public policy. So she helped me a lot with thinking through what the options are for after my fellowship, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But there's also formal networking events during every fellowship retreat where you meet with the board and other alumni fellows. There's more informal ones every semester, I guess, of the fellowship, where you meet with all the alumni or fellows in your area, which is really helpful. And Priscilla and Eric Schwartz are really great at connecting you with people in the realm of your interest as you're figuring out next steps after the fellowship. I got connected with somebody working in juvenile justice reform, which is what I'm really interested in, and I'm talking with her later this week, so the possibilities are endless. Hello, so my name is Anya. Just to introduce myself a little bit more formally, I am the second year fellow at 826 Boston, where I'm technically the publishing fellow. So I lead a creative writing education class at a high school nearby, and my favorite part has definitely been the cohort experience. I think that it can be really difficult graduating college and going into a full-time entry-level position right away, because you're leaving all of these friendships, all of your routine, even your third spaces behind. And I think the cohort and the experience of being in a place for 2 years where you're able to grow in your role, and also have just these other people who are going through the exact same thing as you to lean on is really, really helpful in my experience. So I'm very grateful for everyone I've met through the fellowship, and I'm going to miss them the most out of everything. Hello, so my name is Anya. Just to introduce myself a little bit more formally, I am the second year fellow at 826 Boston, where I'm technically the publishing fellow. So I lead a creative writing education class at a high school nearby, and I also turn all of the student work into physical publications out of our nonprofit. So it's a really rewarding job, and we are having 2 fellows at 826 Boston next year, and I know we've been getting a lot of interest and I've been getting a lot of messages, so I'm really excited to answer any questions related to 826 or the fellowship in particular. To answer this question,
for me, it really depends on the time of year. A lot of my direct service project includes working with all of our visitors, and so this could either be working on the museum floor, working with our internship group, or working with Harvard Med Science. And so that kind of is happening at all times during the year, and it takes up about 70% of my week. However, my strategic project involves working with our youth engagement team to plan large-scale youth events. And so right now we're actually planning one of our high school science series in February, and so it's ramping up, but that kind of ebbs and flows depending on when our events are happening and how much work we have to dedicate to it.
Hello, so my name is Anya. Just to introduce myself a little bit more formally, I am the second year fellow at 826 Boston, where I'm technically the publishing fellow. So I lead a creative writing education class at a high school nearby, and I also turn all of the student work into physical publications out of our nonprofit. So it's a really
So being at the museum, I work a weird schedule. I work Tuesday through Saturday. And so on Tuesdays and Fridays, it's usually more of my strategic project work, which is a lot of meetings and planning for different events that are coming up. On Wednesdays, I work with our Fenway High School interns. On Thursdays, I work in our med science program, teaching high schoolers there. And on Saturdays, I'm usually on the museum floor, facilitating activities for visitors of all ages. But it also, like I said before, it changes throughout the year, so no one day is the same at the museum, which I love.